Kinsley holds her phone high, live streaming to millions of fans, her smile dazzling, her presence untouchable. Every movement is perfect, curated for the world to adore. Then, the runway shifts. A new model steps forward, Nolan, tall, magnetic, his nervous energy hidden beneath flawless tailoring. He is unknown, yet every eye turns toward him. Kinsley lowers her phone for the first time that night. Their eyes meet. It is not staged, not rehearsed. Just fire, raw and electric. She inhales sharply, and though the crowd roars, she hears only his footsteps. In her voiceover, smooth and intimate, she whispers, "They say love can't survive under a spotlight. But what if the spotlight is all you've ever known?" The line lingers as Nolan walks past her, their hands almost brushing. A ripple of whispers spreads in the crowd. Screens light up. The internet already ships them before they've even spoken. Backstage, chaos erupts. Stylists shout, designers panic, but Kinsley slips into the shadows, following the stranger who just disrupted her perfect world. She finds him leaning against a wall, catching his breath, unaware that half the internet is now dissecting his face. She steps closer. "You don't belong here, do you?" she teases. Nolan smirks, though his eyes betray his nerves. "Neither do you," he replies, and for the first time in years, Kinsley laughs not for the cameras, not for the followers, but for herself. The next morning, the tabloids explode. Kinsley and mystery model? Rumors swirl, edits go viral, brands call it the romance of the year. Paparazzi stalk them, their every glance analyzed. Kinsley's manager warns her, "Stay away from him unless you want to burn your empire." But she can't. The memory of his gaze lingers like a secret she refuses to delete. She finds him again, this time at a quiet cafe tucked into the Paris streets. No cameras, no glam, just the smell of coffee and rain. He tells her he hates the spotlight, that he only models to pay for his mother's hospital bills. Vulnerability slips through the cracks, and suddenly, Kinsley sees more than a pretty face. She sees a man who doesn't want her fame, just her. But the world won't let them be. A luxury brand offers them a couple's campaign, millions of dollars on the table. Kinsley hesitates, torn between protecting him and protecting her empire. He accepts, thinking it's the only way to survive in her world. But as the cameras roll, their staged affection starts to bleed into reality. Every fake kiss tastes too real. Every scripted glance feels like fire. And soon, they can't tell where the performance ends and love begins. Then comes betrayal. A rival influencer leaks fake messages, twisting their love into a scandal. "It's all PR," the headlines scream. Nolan walks away, crushed, convinced Kinsley chose fame over truth. She tries to reach him, but his phone is off, his apartment empty. Days blur into silence until one evening. Kinsley abandons it, all the shows, the followers, the cameras, and follows a trail to Nolan's small hometown. She finds him by the river, away from everything, sketching designs for a life he never thought he'd have. Tears burn in her eyes as she whispers, "I didn't want you because the world told me to. I wanted you because you were the first thing that felt real." He looks at her, broken but still in love. "I don't want to be content," he says softly. "I want to be yours." And for the first time, there are no cameras, no spotlights, just two hearts colliding in the dark. Her followers spam her comments with fire emojis, heart edits, and hashtags already trending worldwide. She scrolls in silence, her face lit by the glow of her phone. But inside, she feels something she hasn't felt in years, uncertainty. For someone who has always controlled the narrative, this new story is writing itself without her permission. The next day, at a rooftop photo shoot overlooking the Eiffel Tower, Kinsley is radiant on camera, posing as though her life is perfect. But in the corner of her vision, she sees him. Nolan called in last minute as the male counterpart. His walk is steady, his expression calm, but she catches the flicker of nerves in his jawline. The photographer tells them to act like lovers. Kinsley laughs, too loud, trying to brush it off. But then Nolan takes her hand, unexpectedly tender, and suddenly the city noise vanishes. She stares at him longer than the shot requires. The camera clicks. Later, that single photograph will be everywhere. Backstage, Kinsley corners him. "You didn't tell me you'd be here." Nolan shrugs, adjusting his jacket. "I didn't know I had to." She smirks, used to control, but he isn't playing her game. "Most people would kill for the attention you're getting," she says, testing him. He looks her dead in the eyes. "I'm not most people." That answer disarms her more than she'd like to admit. Their encounters multiply. A stolen coffee at dawn when both can't sleep. A quiet conversation on a balcony after an after-party. City lights flickering below. He tells her about his mother's illness, how he never wanted this world, how every photo feels like a lie. She listens, and for once, doesn't know how to spin it into content. "You're the first person who talks to me like I'm not a brand," she whispers. He smiles softly. "You're not." But the spotlight is cruel. Their closeness explodes into headlines. Kinsley and Nolan becomes the hottest tag online. Some fans swoon, others call him a clout chaser. Brands rush to monetize the love story. Kinsley's agent lays a contract on the table, couple campaign. Global billboards. Millions. She hesitates, staring at Nolan's name printed beside hers. "This could make us legends," the agent insists. Kinsley bites her lip. But at what cost? They sign. The shoots are glamorous crystal chandeliers, golden gowns, perfect kisses for the lens. But between takes, the lines blur. Every brush of his lips leaves her shaking long after cut is called. Every fake embrace makes her ache for the real thing. And though they pretend for the cameras, their hearts are no longer pretending. Then comes the betrayal. A rival influencer, desperate for Kinsley's throne, leaks doctored screenshots of her texting. "It's all for PR. He's nothing without me." Overnight, the internet turns savage. Nolan sees the headlines before she can explain. Hurt floods his face when she finds him. "So that's all I am? Content," he spits, walking away before she can speak. Her protests are drowned out by paparazzi shoving microphones, by fans screaming betrayal. For the first time, Kinsley's flawless world cracks. She searches for him, but he's gone. His apartment empty. His phone off. Weeks pass, her empire trembling as followers unfollow in waves. But the emptiness in her chest hurts worse than the numbers. One night, unable to bear the emptiness, she vanishes from Paris. No live stream. No posts. Just gone. She finds him in his small hometown, by the riverbank, sketching in a tattered notebook. No cameras, no flashing lights, just the sound of water. She approaches slowly. "Nolan," he doesn't look up. "You should go back. The city misses its queen." She kneels beside him, voice breaking. "I don't care about the city. I care about you." Finally, his eyes meet hers, filled with pain. "I wanted you, Kinsley. Not the influencer. Just you. And I don't know if that version even exists anymore." She grabs his hand, desperate. "She does. You're the only one who's ever seen her." Silence hangs heavy. Then slowly, he leans in, their foreheads touching, his walls crumbling. She whispers, trembling, "The world can call it fake, but this is the only thing in my life that's real." And finally, their lips meet. No paparazzi. No hashtags. Just love, raw and unfiltered. Weeks later, the final runway arrives. The crowd buzzes, expecting Kinsley to walk alone, flawless and untouchable. But as the music swells, Nolan steps out beside her, hand in hand. Gasps echo. Paparazzi scream. Together, they stride the runway, not as a brand, not as a stunt, but as truth. The crowd rises, the internet explodes, but they don't hear it. They only feel each other's hand, steady and unshakable. The luxury brand calls them in for a private meeting in a penthouse overlooking Paris. Gold accents glint under crystal chandeliers as executives pitch the couple campaign billboards, magazine covers, viral content, every frame curated to sell millions. Kinsley listens, fingers gripping her notebook. Inside, her heart races. She knows the exposure will skyrocket her influence, but at what cost? Nolan sits beside her, quiet, jaw tight. He knows the truth: this isn't love for the world, it's content for the world. After the meeting, she takes him aside in the elevator, the city lights streaming past glass walls. "We don't have to do this," she whispers. His eyes flash with hurt. "Kinsley, do you even see me? Or just the attention we'll get?" She swallows, torn between loyalty to the empire she's built and loyalty to the man standing next to her. "I see you," she promises softly. But inside, doubt gnaws. The contract lies on the table, official and binding. Then comes the storm. A rival influencer, desperate for her throne, posts doctored screenshots of private texts. Nolan is just part of the campaign. Nothing real. The internet explodes. Fans accuse them of staging the romance, journalists speculate, brands whisper doubts. Nolan sees the post first. Rage, betrayal, Hurt his face hardens. He storms into the streets of Paris, camera flashes chasing him like predators. Kinsley runs after him, ignoring calls, ignoring contracts, ignoring the world. She catches up in the rain outside a gala, the city lights reflecting off wet cobblestones. Inside, thousands gather, dressed in silk and diamonds. Cameras flash. Reporters murmur. But Kinsley steps forward, her heels clicking, every eye drawn to her. She climbs the stage, voice cutting through the hum of the crowd. This, she gestures toward Nolan, standing tense in the corner, is real. Not for the cameras. Not for your feeds. Real. And if anyone here thinks otherwise, you can take your opinions somewhere else. Gasps ripple through the audience. Flashbulbs ignite like fireworks. Brands hold their breath. The world watches, waiting to see if she'll crumble. She doesn't. Nolan's eyes widen. Hurt softens into awe. For the first time, he feels seen not as a pawn, not as content, but as himself. He steps forward, slowly, until their hands meet. The crowd erupts, but neither hears it. The sound of thousands disappears into silence as they stand together, heartbeats sinking in a shared, defiant rhythm. Backstage, Kinsley leans close, voice low. We can't let them take this from us. Not our love. Not our truth. Nolan nods, finally letting the anger slip. Then let's not give them the show they want. Let's make our own. And just like that, the world stops controlling them. The spotlight still shines, but it no longer dictates their story. It only illuminates the love they refuse to fake, the intimacy they fought to protect. The gala ends. Headlines explode. Some brands panic, some fans cheer, and influencers gossip endlessly. But Kinsley and Nolan leave together, walking the empty streets of Paris, rain-slicked and silent except for laughter, whispered apologies, and promises to never let the world define their hearts. Every flash from a distant paparazzi only makes them closer, hand in hand, unstoppable. Days pass, but the scandal doesn't fade. Headlines scream, fan accounts spin theories, and brands press for explanations. Kinsley and Nolan retreat to a quiet Parisian loft. The city lights a soft glow behind rain-streaked windows. No cameras. No followers. Just them. Nolan sketches quietly at the table, his brow furrowed, while Kinsley scrolls through her phone, resisting the urge to see the comments. She finally sets it down. Kinsley, I can't believe how fast the world spins. One wrong post and suddenly everything feels fake. Nolan, it's always been like this. But it doesn't have to define us. Not us. She studies him, heart swelling. You're right. But I'm scared. Scared that love isn't enough against everything out there. He reaches for her hand, fingers lacing with hers. Then we make it enough. Together. The quiet is broken by a call from the brand's executive. They want one final runway appearance, Kinsley alone, perfect, untouchable. She hesitates, glancing at Nolan. I can't, she says. Not without him. He smiles faintly. Then we go together. Show them the truth. The night of the runway arrives. Paris glitters under spotlights, the music swelling, the crowd a sea of expectation. Kinsley steps out first, in a gown shimmering like liquid gold, heels clicking on marble. Gasps ripple through the audience. Then Nolan appears beside her in black, his presence grounding her, their hands brushing as they walk together. Their chemistry ignites every corner of the room, every camera lens, every screen broadcasting their defiance. Flashbulbs explode, reporters murmur, fans scream. Some brands freeze, some cheer, but none can touch the truth they radiate. Kinsley leans close to Nolan as they reach the end of the runway. Kinsley, we did it. We survived them. Nolan, no. We thrived in ours. As they step off the stage, the crowd erupts, not at a stunt, but at authenticity. Social media explodes. Fans worldwide declare this the most real love story ever captured. The scandal is forgotten. The moment is immortal. On a quiet rooftop afterward, the Eiffel Tower sparkling in the distance, they finally breathe, rain lightly dusting their shoulders. Kinsley rests her head on his chest, voice soft. Kinsley, we were never just content for their screens. We were real. Nolan wraps his arms around her, holding her tight. Nolan. And in the end, that's all that matters.